Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Maswali Na Siasa on Mambo Zuri TV. Today we're at Kesho Bora, a networking event for young and hungry Kenyans. We've had the opportunity to connect and inspire.
I've always had a passion for fashion ever since I was a young girl. So having an opportunity after I finished my A-levels, I had the opportunity to take a gap year, and then I bought a sewing machine, and from then on I just started creating the pieces that you see here. But what really inspires me is I get inspired by our homeland. So I get inspired by the Maasai tribes, the different tribes that we have in Africa as well.
One day I logged onto my YouTube channel and I had something like 300,000 views on the first video that I posted, and people wanted me to post more. So then we started doing things on how to turn, how to go backwards, and eventually it grew into something that I called Hockey Tutorial, which has become the second largest ice hockey related learning platform in the world. I never expected that to happen. Thanks a lot, guys. And it wasn't planned, and the great thing about that is, being black, being Kenyan, and being into ice hockey, we still know, I mean, even if you know nothing about hockey, I think we can all agree it's a very white-dominated sport. But the great thing about that is, because I was black, it stood out. If you saw a tutorial on YouTube from a black guy that plays hockey, you're going to remember it. And honestly, it worked. It worked to my advantage because people remembered me. The philosophy that I live my life by is, I would rather regret doing something than regret not doing it, because you have no idea where that's going to take you. You don't know what's going to happen. And I don't want to be in a position where I'm looking back at my life and thinking, what if? I'd rather just take the chance and see what would happen and what would come from that. And it's kind of why I'm here today, to hopefully try and get somebody to do the same thing. You don't have to feel that you're imprisoned.
On today's episode, we'll be discussing the recent debacle at the Olympics with the Kenya national athletics team. We're going to be finding out people's opinions on what really went wrong.
In a way, I was quite angry about it. These are people who are there representing our country, and the fact that they're staying in favelas, that means that there's someone who's gaining from that. In terms of, like, the favelas, ain't going to be the most costly places to sort of accommodate our athletes. So there's someone always taking a cut. So it's another reflection of the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems in Kenya, so to speak, is the corruption. And this what sort of lags us behind. And it's great how well they perform, but it's always good to know that you're being rewarded for your efforts, and it would have been good for the athletes to sort of have known that. In terms of, I had a quote that they were hearing gunshots in terms of when they're trying to sleep. That's not a condition where you compete. You know, some of the people they're competing against, they were having lovely night's sleep in the best hotels, and then they're going to compete about this. It shows how resilient we are as Kenyans, if to go and sleep in these conditions and still go there and win your race. But at the same time, the officials still need to do better, and they need to improve as a whole. Because when we go there, the whole eye is on Kenya, and the way we perform here is a reflection of Kenya as a whole. And when these kind of scandals, Kenya's going to start falling behind, unfortunately.
I think we did really good. This is the best Olympics that we've had, although the issues surrounding doping and that weren't really good to hear about. It just makes you think that Kenyan officials aren't that serious and don't take athletics as seriously.
So yeah, I did think it was very unfortunate that the athletes had to actually go through, that whole process of sleeping in, unsuitable environments. What could be done is, let's say, for example, a new committee. I believe this problem is based on, the entire country in regards to how we deal with, so many different issues, from waste management to, let's say, dealing with athletes to sport as a whole. I do feel like the whole system does need a remodeling. If that's done, you know, the situations for athletes, better incentives, you know, increasing their livelihoods, you know, generally will improve the situation and will bring more success to, of course, you know, Kenya as a whole.
To be fair, I feel like it's shocking, it's disgraceful, it's not something that should be happening to athletes who are at the top of their game. Like one of my friends was mentioning today, Kenyan athletes, we did the best ever in this Olympic series, and I just think it's such a shame that our countrymen, our officials, our governments couldn't support us the way other people, you know, recognise us. If I go out with my friends, the first thing they're saying, oh, Kenyan, what, sprinter, yeah, da, 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 da. Like, outside people recognise us, outside people support us, you know, they know that we're the best at the game, but our officials don't really put as much effort and as much money as our athletes deserve, to be fair. So I just think that there needs to be a change in attitude ASAP, because it's all well and good bringing home medals, but if we're not being appreciated, if you're not doing it, if you don't feel pride when you hear that anthem going up as you're collecting your medal, what's the point? If you get what I mean?
As we've heard, this was Kenya's best ever performance at an Olympic Games. But the problems behind the scenes have left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Hopefully the officials can learn from these struggles and do better in 4 years' time in Tokyo. For more information on Kesho Bora, check out their Twitter and Facebook.